What up? Welcome to A2thaShow. Goddamn, it's gonna be hard habit to break the previous name. Welcome to A2thaShow. I'm A2thaMo, and this is episode 2 of the new endeavor that we hope will last many episodes that everyone loves, and no one will hate it and skip it and be like, "You're fucking idiot." I mean, a lot of people do that, but enough people will not say that to make me feel like it's worth it. That's what I'm projecting. Put it out there. Manifestation. As you see, I'm thundered up. If you're watching the video, got a good thunder win last night. Still can't say too much, of course, till it's over. And this will probably be out next month. So y'all will already know I'll look like a fool or look really cool and in my thunder gear. All right, used to old show, I would do like a shout out to the Patreon, and that'd be a whole thing, and I'd have people that give me money. I do not currently have one of those. I don't know what the plan is. I don't know if I'm gonna try to get money from this thing. I mean, obviously I should. Well, I mean, like it paid for a lot of the equipment that is being used to make this. Was having that before, and all this stuff could break at any time. So it is always good to have a little fund. That might be something I'll look into, but honestly, I wasn't loving Patreon. It was all right, but I felt like I had to like do a bunch of extra stuff to make it worth it and all that. So I know on Spotify, I think there's like a little premium version. There's some way you can do something similar to Patreon on Spotify. And, maybe I'll just start putting the PayPal link in the thing. It's like, hey, if you have money and you want to give it to me, go for it. If not, that's totally fine. I don't ask anybody for money just to enjoy the gloriousness that is this free podcast. That really just exists for me to get my thoughts out and also try to make some friends. Because, it's kind of sad in the world living your no friend life. I have skinny. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to say I have no friends. I have my wife first off, as much as your spouse may, I was going to say annoy, but my wife doesn't really annoy me, but sometimes you're not like all friend, you're not always trying to do the same shit all the time, but she still is, I guess, counts as a friend. And then I have Skinny, who is my only friend that lives in town anymore, and he will come over. We've been watching some Thunder games, that's about it, but every once in a while I'll come over for I'll make some beats or something. But I feel like that'd be so boring for him, but he seems to enjoy it, but I have that. So I have one friend, and then I have maybe a couple other people I text every once in a while. And then all the rest are internet friends, people that I've met online making music or a podcast that we're still in touch. And so I use this for the social. This is, fuels the social gauge, if you will, or something like that. There's something I'm looking for here. And honestly, as an introverted person, that's just how introverted person that's like grown up with the internet. It was just right there for you to be like, oh, you can just quit doing anything in person and just start doing the internet. And it's so easy to fall victim to it. Even though I do have dreams of like people hit me up. They're like, hey, we're going out to do this. You want to come? And I'll reluctantly be like, I guess so. And then I go and we all have a good time. Because typically when I do hang out with friends, people find me funny or something. Like there's something that'll like make me feel good, or you'll just see crazy shit. And then I gives you stories or whatever. So I do, if you have any real life friends or people that plan on coming through town, just know I would not mind an invite sometimes, now having a wife does complicate things, or not even complicate. It's like she keeps me out of trouble, that's for sure. Because if it was up to me, like anyone would hit me up and be like, yo, let's hang out with this total stranger. And like I would be I am way friendlier than people realize. Some weird way, like I'll give everyone a chance, but then I am also mean to my friends. So like you make a friend and then I start being a little disrespectful and funny and mean. And sometimes people are like, I guess he doesn't like me. I'm like, oh no, I only did that because I did like you. If you're a stranger, I treat you with the utmost respect. It's a little backwards. That's how it works. All right, real quick story here, because it just happened to me, and I'm like, why else do people listen to this podcast up to hear fucking life stories? I've needed a drill, right? So in the real world, if you're a man, you got to do stupid fucking man chores that I am not good at and I don't like doing. But there is a sort of expectation as a man that you got to do these things. So I needed a drill because I haven't had one for years. And there's all these moments where I'm like, I would do that if I had a drill. And then I just don't do it. And so I committed to like, I'm off work at the moment. I'm on a vacation. I could probably use a drill for a few things to do, or like little honeydews around the house. So let me go purchase one. Now I know there's like 5 or 6 drill brands that are like always competing, like what fucking drill to get. And I work with men who argue these things all the time, and I don't give a fuck. Now, my previous history is I had a Ryobi back in the day, and it kind of sucked. It kind of fell apart real quick. The batteries died real fast. And even though I want to like them because it's green and green's my favorite color, there is like, I have an idea of like, yeah, those kind of suck. Because I remember in college getting one of those and it sucked. I had this orange one. I think maybe it's a steel or, something like that I inherited from my wife's grandfather when he passed, but it like has to plug into the wall. And that's the one I currently have. And it's just kind of a pain in the ass. Also, it strips the shit out of everything. So I don't know enough about it. It's like a little handle on the side and shit. People are like, oh, that's a special kind of drill, but I'm not smart enough to know these things. So anyway, I go to Home Depot. I'm looking through all the drills. There's all the brands. I've heard people compliment all of them. All of them I've heard people like, oh, those are the best ones. It's like when trucks in the 90s, people like cared a great deal about Ford, Chevy, Dodge, GMC, all that shit. And then Toyotas came, they're like, fuck these Toyotas, and they became like the coolest fucking looking ones. So anyway, that's what I lived through. So I'm looking at these drills, and I've settled on, I think I may get a DeWalt drill. Those are the yellow ones for anyone who's like me, and them by colors. And I was like, this looks good. There was a deal on one that was like, you get it and the bag and the batteries and all this stuff, and it's $40 off or something like that. And I was like, all right, that's cool. So it would have been $180 if I would have got this drill. And here's the thing, Home Depot, all the drills are caged up. There's like cages underneath the display areas, and they have like padlocks on them. And you're like, well, that's annoying, but this is kind of like buying video games. You got to find the worker to open the shit up. But I'm introverted. I don't really want to talk to people. So I'm looking around for some workers. I don't see anyone. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to look it up on their website. So as I'm standing in the aisle, I pull up the Home Depot website, find the exact thing I'm going to buy that I said was $180. On the website, it was like on sale, $80 off. It's $99.99. And I was like, well, then of course I'm buying this thing here. So I bought that with some drill bits and all other shit. And then I left the store. Now, I guess to Home Depot, they made the sale, so it's all the same to them. But it is strange that you have to go into a store, find what you like, or I had to. And then you go online and it's like, oh yeah, you could just get it almost half off if you just have a fucking phone on you. It's just interesting. So that's what I did. I'll be here tomorrow, and then I'll have to quit putting off stuff that I have been putting off that probably requires a drill. So also slight tangent, but kind of related. Looked at fucking blinds because I need some blinds for this room, and we have a couple other rooms we like to put some blinds up in. Blinds are expensive as fuck. I was under the impression, like when I was a kid, we had the like mini blinds that you twist the little stick, those little plastic things would fall. I didn't see any of those. I say fall, I meant rotate. And the ones I have in our living room are like the faux wood paneling ones. They're like all thick shit. Those are $140 to $180 for like one thing of them or something. Maybe it's 2 window, whatever it was. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I'm going to spend $1,000 on fucking blinds. And so I didn't do that. That happened a couple weeks ago. Last time I went to Home Depot. So I'm coming into my man stage where I'm going to Home Depot, but my cheapness basically makes me always be like, nah, fuck this shit. So maybe eventually, I'll get the blinds, but not today. All right, what else do I have to fucking talk about here? That was personal stuff. Let's go with what's happening in the world. There's lots of things going on. Mainly World War III might have just happened or started with Iran and Israel going to war together at each other. Now I'm anti-war. Like almost all my political takes from a child till now, I thought world peace and no war was what we all wanted. So as soon as someone's like pro-war, I'm very cautious of these people, because to me, everything and all the problems, maybe some of the benefits too, of being of the American government is all the military industrial complex, and how it's like we make the weapons, so therefore we need wars to happen so we can sell the weapons and make money. And if if these corporations that were making money off wars were turning around and using that money to like make the lives of Americans better, I don't even think I would mind that much. I'd be like, listen, that's the price you pay to live in the empire, you know, or whatever. Like, it was like, we do evil shit, but guess what? Our lives are good. But that's not what's that. It's like a very select few percentage of people's lives are really good. And then everyone else is not, you know, it's like, oh yeah, y'all can struggle and shit. So I just don't understand why us as a normal Americans are like, yeah, we will support all these corporations using our military to go to other parts of the world for resource gathering. And we'll just be cool with not getting any benefits of it. So in general, I'm anti-war. Now, you can see a clip about every 2 years for the last 20 years of like, Iran's about to get nuclear weapons. We better stop them. Iran's about to get nuclear weapons. Now, I guess I just kind of believe every country should be allowed. I mean, that's like their right. That's like saying like this country can't have guns. I mean, if you believe right to self-defense and that you as a human have, you know, should be able to control your own destiny in that way, in the moment, the only way you can get any sort of respect is you have nukes. And if you give them away, and that's happened in a few countries like Ukraine, they gave up their nuclear program. And then all of a sudden you're doing what other people tell you. So I just get it. I get why they want it. Also, nuclear power is like the future. That's how will probably power everything. So just because once you learn nuclear power, you can then also make a nuclear weapon. Seems like they're kind of using the nuclear weapon as a way to keep these other countries down. I don't like that. And then also just knowing the history of Iran and how they used to be like a pretty normal country. And I say normal in a way it's probably offensive to like super religious people that live in Iran now. But there was a time Iran looked like just any other country. Women in bikinis, they were on the streets, no burqas and all that stuff. And then the CIA in America went in and helped overthrow their government. And then we put in this religious leader because he was like allied with the West. And then he did what we said for 40 years. And so people were like, well, yeah, it was better when it was like that. And it's like, well, of course it was. He was our fucking patsy. So now, I don't even know if I'm all right on this, but this is basically all the information I've heard and it's stuck in my brain. Could be wrong. But if what I'm saying is right, I think my intuition is correct. So I don't know. I don't like this World War III shit. I don't like, this next part is something I don't like, but something I've noticed a lot is I have a lot of religious family members or conservative people on my Facebook. So my Facebook looks way different than my other social medias because it's all, you know, family, people you know from your hometown, shit like that. And they're very conservative. And I've seen people, they don't write it because they're not this literate, but they'll do a big copy and paste of like this 6-paragraph thing. And it'll be like, you know, the missiles are falling on Israel like they predicted in Revelations. And, you know, like they mention all these things that are in Revelations that is going on now. And they're like, this means the end of the world is near. And I think that's kind of cool, to be honest. Out of like the Christian religion, that's fun shit. But they ignore all these other parts of the Revelation. Now, I guess some people say, well, that's on par for fucking Christian Bible readers. But there's like a big part in Revelations. It's like there will be a group of Jewish people who will claim they're the Jews, but they're not the real Jews. They're fake Jews. Paraphrasing there, but more or less that's the thing. So like if you can see that and you're like, oh yes, the war in Israel, this is the Revelations, like, well then how can you not read that part? Be like, maybe the ones that are claiming to be Jews are evil Jews or something, whatever the fuck the Bible says. Again, I don't believe it. I just think it's interesting that the people that do believe it can like look over certain parts where I'm like, it seems like you would just dig in even more on these things, you know, but who knows? And I've seen that go up in the last couple of weeks. People are like, actually, the Ashkenazis are going to become Jewish till the 6th century. That's who the Bible's talking about. So that's what people are claiming. I don't really know. I don't even know if like the Ashkenazi Jews are like comparatively to the other Jewish people. I know a lot of Jewish people look different, but it's a religion, not a race, but it is a race. And so I don't know. I just get confused and I try to think about it. I just know that the governments of countries that are like, let's fire missiles at people and go to war, I don't like that. So I don't care what your religion is, but it seems like you should not want to kill people. Hot take there. All right. Another thing that did happen while we were gone, I was going to wait till I had like a skinny on here or a Soko, you know, a black friend, if you will, to kind of balance me out. But I think I'm pretty good. I've always sided on the black side of most things over the years. But one thing that kind of happened while I was gone that I was really fascinated by the story was the kid that was stabbed at the track meet. So I don't remember the full details. It's been a while, but it was in Texas. There was like 2 white brothers twins possibly, and there was a black kid sitting in their area. Now, I've went to a lot of track meets over the years. I was in track. It was the most fun sport to do because you fucking spent 10 minutes doing your event, and then you just got to chill out all day while you missed the whole day of school. And there were like little area, like your school would sit in an area with your people, and y'all kind of all fucked around or whatever, right? And so I can like imagine how this happened. You come up, a kid sitting in your spot, and you're like, "Hey man, get the fuck out of here." Now I would never say it because I'm not confrontational like that. But someone says that. Now I don't know how the story went. Someone says there's camera footage. I probably should have researched all this for talking about it, but I'm just kind of going off my memory. But basically, a black kid stabs a white kid right in the heart. So I think maybe happened somewhere else. It wouldn't have been his fate or whatever. It was like right in the heart. Kid dies. At first, when it first broke in my memory, it was pretty clear of like, yeah, that black kid shouldn't have stabbed the white kid. Like that's, you don't do that. Obviously, whoever stabs someone's in the wrong here. Even if it was a confrontation, like, the weapon was pulled. I don't know. There was like sort of that idea, but within like 48 hours, from my perspective of what happened was there seemed to be like an internet like black community online that's like, how dare you, we will defend this black kid because he's black. And then they kind of really caped up for his cause, and then he started getting a lot of money for it. And then also kind of causing the dad of the white kid was also being very much like, don't attack the family, and this is an accident. Like, I don't know, he said some shit that people were like, it's kind of weird. So it was all strange. Now, to me, I think if someone's like that saps someone at a school event, that's at the least manslaughter, right? If not murder. So I don't. It's a weird thing to argue, but yeah, the kid's family that was the defendant of the. I guess still a defendant, he's on the court for it or whatever. His family made a bunch of money, bought a new house, got new vehicles, all because their kid stabbed someone. So there's something about that like hits you the wrong way. And again, I will fully admit, all this could be fake, and I could have been like swindled by fake stories or whatever. I don't fucking know. So that whole thing happens, and it's like, wow, that's fucking weird. And then like 2 weeks later, this white woman, and I want to say she was like in Minnesota, but I don't know where. She was somewhere. Some blonde white lady calls a little black kid the N-word on a playground. Like maybe a 5-year-old kid's hitting her kid. And then she calls him an N-word, and then that goes viral. And then very quickly, like black people get mad about that, which I think made sense. Maybe not that they get mad. Maybe it's just more of like bringing awareness, like, hey, this is fucked up to do. But then all the white people online, not all, of course, because I'm white and it wasn't me, but a group of white people online just really gathered behind her and then started giving her money for this idea of like, they're trying to cancel her. She'll never be able to have a job. Let's get her $400,000 or whatever the fuck the number was. And then so it came this like sort of comparison of like one race is like getting all this money for this guy who's accused of murder, and then there's someone else raising all this money for this lady who's yelling the N-word at little black kids, and then they're just digging in. So then, because I'm conspiracy minded, I'm like, I motherfucking think the race war shit in the 60s they're talking about is 100% the plan. Like they're just slowly trying to keep all the races mad at each other, because I just think anyone could look at both of those stories and be like, yeah, you don't stab people, and yeah, you don't call kids the N-word. But there's people out there that they will fucking really ride or die for one of those sides and not the other, So it's just really, it's real strange. The world's strange. I feel like it's getting worse. But all we got to do is talk it out. You talk it out, and maybe it gets better. And then also touching on some racism. And it's not really racism, it's colorism, I guess. I got to say, tan white people are the worst. As a pale white person, I mean a tan white person, they're like, God, look how pale you are. Don't you ever go out in the sun? They're just fucking hating. So they hate on. And then what's crazy, it happens exact opposite. For black people, it's like super, super dark. I'm like, goddamn, Blade. It's just like if you're too dark or you're too white, people have some sort of fucking issue. And these people in the middle, they think they're special. And I don't like these motherfuckers. So, anyway. That's my race thoughts of the day. Let's play a song. That's what I think we should do. And I think what I'm gonna go with is I'm going another one of Sir Nasty. This is the homie from Graveyard Entertainment. Last week I didn't want to give too much away, but I'm just gonna put it out there because again, you got to manifest these things. I'm currently working on like 4 albums, which is way too many. It's stupid, but two of those are collaboration projects with members of Graveyard. One was Sir Nasty, one was Southern Comfort. They are at the very beginning stages. Like, I've started 2 songs for each project, I think, at this moment. We're going very slow, but they have many beats that we have to work with at the moment. So let's pray, all right, out there, that these all come together. And like I said, the first song we're going to go with is going to be here from Sir Nasty, and it's off of his new album, I Still Got Problems. Came out June 13th. Look out for him to have an album every Friday the 13th, by the way. And I think I have maybe 9 beats on this, something like that. I didn't count them exactly, but I wanted to, of course, get this played because it's not even on Spotify yet at the time of us recording. It's still on Bandcamp, and I own it on Bandcamp because they're the homies and they gave it to me. And so the one song we're gonna play today from Sir Nasty is another tangent. I'm just gonna keep getting distracted. Last week I meant to actually do more reviews about these songs, and I totally forgot. That's probably gonna happen a lot because I don't like being mean about anything. Not that I am. These are all my homies. But the episode last week's the Sir Nasty song, I was going to talk about how I could not figure out which beat he used, and it's because it was a beat I'd given Soko, and it ended up on Sir Nasty's project. So I spent a good 3 hours looking through beats, being like, what the fucking beat is this? And then it turned out it was, when I gave Soko. So maybe Graveyard keeps track and let me know in the future. All right. The one we're playing today, though, is going to be called I Rap My Life 2, I think. Oh, let me actually look at it. I'm kidding. Yeah, I Rap My Life 2, track 14 off of I Still Got Problems. And let's give it a listen.
I rap my life, nigga. Put that on my life, nigga. Here we go again. God disciple, I'm a GD, nigga. Garden block, I'm a GB, nigga. I go crazy when I squeeze these triggers. It's finna be trouble when I see these niggas putting on my mask. They think it's a game. Then I shoot a motherfucker point blank range. Look, don't put it on if you don't wanna bang, bitch. I'm Jason and we a motherfucking gang. Bang. I don't really care. I'ma get that nigga when he get up out his chair. I'ma get that nigga if I see him at the fair. If I see him at church, I'ma get that nigga there. Yeah, get them niggas hell. Pull up at your house like I'm bringing you the mail. Nigga fuck jail like I can't make bail. When I catch a motherfucker at Taco Bell, he dead. Whole lot of rounds. I'ma put that nigga in the motherfucking ground. I'ma tell that bitch don't nobody make a sound. I'ma tell them niggas don't come to the Mac town. It's crazy. Up in here, up in here, up in here, up in here, up in here. Y'all finna make me kill somebody. Up in here, up in here, up in here, up in here, up in here. Y'all finna make me kill somebody. Don't fuck with a G, cause I be stepping. Nigga, I don't give a fuck if she pregnant. Tell her shut the fuck up. If she keep flexing, I'ma cut that bitch open like a C-section. Everybody in the clique got a stick. Better talk to your son, little bitch. Pull up to your family reunion. He on the ground like shit, I'm hit. Now you believe. 911, this little nigga can't breathe. 911, I got a little nigga laying in the street. Tell the police, bring the white sheets, it's murder. Up in here, up in here, up in here, up in here, up in here. Y'all finna make me kill somebody. Up in here, up in here, up in here, up in here, up in here. Y'all finna make me kill somebody. Now you believe. Tell your grandma get down on her knees and pray that I don't fucking come your way. Y'all motherfuckers better stop playing with the G's. It's murder. Shotgun, give them bird shots. Everybody run when they heard shots. Shotgun, give them buck shots. Everybody run when they heard shots. Whole lot of rounds. I'ma put that nigga in the motherfucking ground. I'ma tell them bitches don't nobody make a sound. I'ma tell them don't come to the fucking Mac town. It's crazy. Up in here, up in here, up in here, up in here, up in here. Y'all finna make me kill somebody. Up in here, up in here, up in here, up in here, up in here. Y'all finna make me kill somebody. Up in here, up in here, up in here, up in here, up in here. Y'all finna make me kill somebody. Up in here, up in here, up in here, up in here, up in here. Y'all finna make me kill somebody. Rest in peace to DMX. We miss you, OG.
Sir Nasty with I Rap My Life 2. I kept on saying up in here, obviously, because he kept saying it. But yeah, like that a lot off. I Still Got Problems, y'all. Be on the lookout for when that comes to streaming. Maybe it is by the time y'all, this episode comes out. If not, go to his Bandcamp, purchase it. You can buy his whole discography, but it is over $200 for all of it. So maybe just do it one at a time. But unless you're fucking balling. If you're fucking balling, you do it, obviously. just like you would send me money to fucking support this podcast or whatever. But anyway, shout out to Nasty. Really like that one. I like those sort of beats I make that have just the looped pianos. There's something about it that I think I've sent 2. Now I bet the other one, but whatever the number 1 version of that number 2 song there might be the other one I sent to him like that. But I do like those. There's just something about them that make you have to rap, you know, or that's how I feel. So I feel personally. Working on lots of music lately. Really, I'm making like too many beats in some ways. So I'm selling some browsebeats.com. If you're curious, if you're looking at that, maybe I'll put something up right here that explains it if I remember. And yeah, it's I don't know the name of the guy. I kind of forgot the like star of the website, but it's a little startup website to sell with a beat store. So if I could add anything, I wish it had a PayPal functionality, but it uses Stripe, which is just like another type of way to do payments. So I could see that becoming an issue if I ever make a sell there. I have not yet, but I have about 30 beats uploaded, something like that. And you know, I just need to fucking sell some beats, or even find people that just want to use them and give me percentages. I've done that with people as well. It doesn't normally pay a lot, but it's fun. You know, I keep making them. I can't stop. Sometimes I go on runs where I'm like, God, these are all so good. Last night when Skinny was here, we were watching the game, and during the first half, I made 3 beats, and they fucking all sucked. I won't even say suck. They were just weird. They're like, I don't know what the fuck can do with all this shit, you know? So that's how it goes. Sometimes you got to go through the good ones, you go through the bad ones, but that is the life of a beat maker. I know I need to make some videos of me like showing off the beats and shit, but the ones I like are people dancing and having a good time to it. It's hard for me to do that. So I need Skinny here to like dance for me, I guess, while we listen to beats, and maybe I can clip those somehow. I could explain how to make them, but I've gotten kind of lazy lately. Like I'm just sampling fucking everything. And then once I find a good melody sample of a BPM, I'm like, oh, any fucking perk loops I got to match that. And I'm just, you know, I'm taking a lot of shortcuts these days, but it's fun. So, you know, and every once in a while, I'm like, I got to challenge myself. I'm making this all from scratch. And I do. And that is fun as well. But it normally isn't worth the extra time, you know. I mean, it is for whenever you upload a beat and it's like it gets copyright because y'all use the same melody or something. That kind of fucking annoys the shit out of you. But anyway, I love the sampled beats. I'm using them. I'm giving them to the homies. I feel weird about selling some of them because it is clear, like it'll just be like this 1971 song and I added drums over it, you know, but it's more or less just their song. And so I don't know what to do with that stuff. I don't know if I can like upload it to Spotify and just hope not to get caught, or if it would, but I think they're good. I like listening to them. So maybe it is just for me. You know, these are a fucking intro to this fucking podcast. I mean, it is I don't remember the name. It's some Russian guy on YouTube from like 1972 or some shit. And he's playing the fuck out of some trumpet or some shit. And so I've heard that. I was like, well, I got to use this. And then I made a beat out of it. And then when I was restarting this, I was like, oh my God, I have the perfect beat. And yeah, let me know what y'all think of that intro song. If some people might be like, that shit don't fit at all. Blackout, Jeremy, Skinny's homie, he came over the other night and he thought it was Mexican. And I was like, no, it's fucking a Russian guy, I think. Or Yugoslavian or Ukrainian. I don't fucking know. Some crazy Russian looking name. So anyway, maybe that's disingenuous, but I like it. All right, let's see. I'll try to talk about Thunder stuff earlier, but there's nothing to say yet. You know, hopefully they win. They're closer to it than not. They're one game away at the time of recording. So we're hoping so. Also excited about the draft, of course. Rumor is Thunder's going to try to trade up, maybe package some draft picks, move up the draft. That's, of course, what they should do. And they have too many fucking draft picks. But anyway, good stuff. Now, I mentioned this a little bit last week, but I do think sports fandom and like nerd fandom, maybe like anime type stuff, and like wrestling fandom, they're all so similar. And I always find it pretty funny how they're very judgmental of each other in a lot of ways. Like most sports fan type people I know, they'll be like, if they knew someone watched anime or like even in the professional wrestling, I mean, sometimes those cross over more, but there are, you know, that are like people that completely just hate it, but they like look down upon these things because it's like, I ain't watching 1,000 episodes of Naruto, which I wouldn't either, but I don't watch anime. But I understand why someone wouldn't, how they would get into it, where like sports fans don't realize, like, you've watched thousands of episodes of football or thousands of episodes of baseball, whatever, like you've put in more time being a nerd about this shit than most nerds do about any singular thing. A lot of time a nerd or geek, if you will, their interests are kind of spread out. Like I have nerd and geek qualities. Definitely. I think I'm probably more so that than a sports fan, but they're so spread out. Like I don't really go that deep into one thing. And then things that I'm like, I love Stargate SG-1 and I do, but then fucking Powwow, if I can watch it 12 times more than me, and he's like obsessed, so I've never been the obsessed person with any one thing. Like I think I'm a huge Lil Wayne fan, and I am. I was like the biggest Lil Wayne fan I knew in my town growing up. But now you're on the internet and you're like, oh, those beats on the Carter 6 sucks. And like someone's going to argue with you because like they're such a fan. They'll even like bad stuff, So it's just interesting. Also, wrestling fandom, just shout the wrestling people out there. I tried to watch Raw on Netflix when it came to Netflix. Like, let me give this a shot, I have Brad and Soko on, two of my best internet friends, or he had them on the last podcast, and they love wrestling, and I don't think really watch all the modern stuff, but they like it, and I want to give it a shot. It keeps popping up in my algorithm, all the old matches I grew up watching as a kid that I loved, and I was like, yeah, wrestling is cool. And I watched that fucking Heels show, and they put the 2 seasons up on Netflix. Hopefully it makes a revival, and I loved it. I loved Heels more than most TV shows I've watched, to be honest, and I really liked this. I was like, I'm gonna give wrestling a shot. And then I watched a couple weeks and I just hate it. And I don't even hate it. I think I would like it if it was more like what I grew up with. And maybe that's impossible, or maybe that's just nostalgia or whatever. But just all the guys that are supposed to be like really good today, I was like, they're not that good. And that was shocking to me that they weren't as good as I anticipated them to be. Like CM Punk, I liked on Hills a lot. And I was like, we'll see this. And then he just talked for like 30 minutes. And I was like, oh my God, I was over this shit like 20 minutes ago. And Jey Uso, I know, was like a big deal at that time on the episode. And I was like, that was one of the worst wrestlers I've ever seen that's like supposed to be really good. Right. And I'm no expert, I'm no expert at the wrestling and this shit, but just watching it, I was like, man, this sucks. And my wife was like trying to like walk in the room when I was watching it, and she was like, I can't believe you're watching it, so maybe her judging, but then again, I don't care. She can judge me all she wants, but she was watching too. Like, yeah, I don't think this is very entertaining. So I gave it a shot. It's not for me. Seth Rollins, another one I thought was really bad. And I was like, isn't he like the number one, like one of the number one people? So anyway, I just was very let down by it, but I gave it a shot, and I'm glad I at least did that. I'll just stick to the TikTok documentary clips that come up, and that makes more sense for me, I think. So anyway, what else we got here? Oh, here's a video game thought. This is something that occupies my mind a lot. I love video games, and I play quite a few of them. I do think trophies have ruined video games, and it sucks because I'm addicted to trophies. Also achievements, whatever you want to call them. So people don't understand, around the Xbox 360, I believe it was, Xbox introduced Xbox achievements. And then that made where they had like 1,000 points. And now people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? But so like in a game, there's like a menu like in the console that keeps a list of all the games you've played. And then each of those games had 1,000 points worth of extra quests to do, or not even extra quests, but like things that was like, if you get through this story checkpoint, you pop this thing up. If you get 23 pointers in a game, you get this, different things for different games, of course. And so then PlayStation 3 copied suit. About halfway through the generation, they came up with PlayStation trophies. Now, the only thing that makes a trophy different than an achievement is an achievement, like I said, 1,000 points, I believe, is what their totals are for each game. And then you 100% the game. Same with Steam. Steam has achievements, and you just try to get to 100%. So it says you 100% of the game. PlayStation trophies, exact same thing, except once you 100% a game, you get a platinum trophy. And then all of their achievements, like I said, are called trophies because they're rather bronze, silver, gold trophies, but it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. Trophy hunting and achievement hunting, I think, have ruined games, but while I simultaneously love them and sometimes get obsessed with it, like if there's a game I love, I have to get the platinum if it's within reason. Sometimes there's some games where it's just, they can, like, I loved was it 2018 God of War, I think it was the year that one came out, and I thought it was really good. But I was like, oh, I'm just not going to be the Valkyrie Queen. And then you go online, people are like, oh, just put it on easy. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like, I will feel like a cheater. So I'm just not, I didn't earn this platinum. It's not going to happen. And then there's other times where a game I don't even like. I'm like, well, I'm 2 trophies away. I'll just get the platinum. So, I am a little obsessed with the platinum trophies. I will admit that. But I do think it's ruined gaming. My main reasoning is I just can't go back and replay games anymore. So I used to, I've probably replayed Final Fantasy Tactics, Final Fantasy 7 and 9. Those all come to mind. A Dark Cloud, the Harvest Moon on PS1. These are all PS1 games. And PS2 is Dark Cloud. There's all these games that I would just go back and replay all the time. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna start another run. And I would just play through it as far as I wanted to go, and then I would quit playing it. And there was just a handful of games like that. There's some on the Super Nintendo as well. Then I would just get an emulator, or these days I have this little handheld thing that has these retro games. And I can go back and just replay those, and I have no guilt about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I can just play it. But if it's a game that I already have trophies for, especially if I already have a platinum, like I have platinum No Man's Sky twice, maybe 3 times. I don't remember if there was one on the PS. I think it came out on the PS4. So No Man's Sky, I platinum on the PS4, then I platinum again on the PS5. And I think about going back and playing that all the time. But I'm like, well, I have all the trophies. So I'll be like wasting my gamer time by playing a game I have all the trophies for. Now, outside people are like, well, that's fucking stupid. Who cares? Just have fun. But they've introduced this new meta game, this gamifying of playing games where it's like, no, I want to get more trophies. And so like, you'll just not play. And now real gamers probably like whatever that means, they're probably the type that are like, you got to be pure, fuck the trophy, don't even think about it. And I have what's actually helped me is since my wife's become a gamer, she got so obsessed with trophies, it made me realize how dumb they were and how it's like, maybe we shouldn't care as much about trophies. Because she was trying to platinum every single game she played. And she did for a while. Like, I think the first 4 or 5 games she played, she platinumed. And I was like, you cannot. And she was honestly not doing it on her own. She'd like bring me in to get the hard ones. And then so I was like, listen, I'm done with this. Sometimes you don't earn the platinum. And so she's slowly starting to come down, but she is in this. So that's what I'm like, even like a new gamer, once they see the system, they're like, well, yeah, I'll go for that. Why wouldn't I do that? And so it somehow has ruined games. It's another also thing like it keeps me away from getting a Nintendo is I'm like, well, they don't have those. And so I don't know if I want to fuck around with them, Also, the Nintendo Switch 2 is pretty expensive, and I don't care about Mario Kart. But those Zelda games still look great. I've missed the Zeldas on the Switches. They look good every time I see a video. So anyway, those are my thoughts on what's happened in my precious video gaming, And then I need to actually talk about some games I've played. So I can do that. One thing that came out, I was very excited about. One of my favorite games of all time got a remaster while I was away from podcasting. And then I have platinumed that already. So that was very fun. And that is Oblivion remastered. That's Elder Scrolls 4. People aren't familiar. The Elder Scrolls, this is a game series. It's like a huge open world. You can just do all kinds of shit. It's fantasy. And I loved Oblivion. Oblivion, I think when I did my top 100 game list, it was like in my top 10, I believe. It probably should be like top 2, 3, 4, whatever. It is. The original Oblivion just hit me at a perfect time in my life. Now, a little backstory there on Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, the one that came out before Oblivion. I played that in junior high at a friend's house who had an Xbox, but I didn't have one, and I loved it. And I was like, oh man, this is great. Now I've watched videos of it now. I'm like, how did we ever play this? This looks janky as fuck, but I loved it. And so once I knew Oblivion existed, I wanted a 360, but I just didn't have the money. I came to college right when the 360 came out. And so it was just like, I can't waste money on that. I bought like a mini fridge and, college. And then I got arrested in college and all my money went to like paying court costs and shit. So my life kind of got turned upside down, turned upside down, as Will Smith would say. And then my homie Justin Sheldon, lead singer of New Time Zones, always shout them out. Go look them up on the streaming services. He wanted to commit his life to learning music, and that's what he does. And in that process, he gave me his Xbox 360. It broke very quickly. And I sent it in an Xbox and got it fixed. So then after that, it became like officially mine in our eyes. And so Oblivion was one of the games he had. I became obsessed with Oblivion. I was dating a girl for about 6 months in college that, in hindsight, I guess was like an abusive relationship. You just as a man don't think of yourself. Like, she didn't physically hit me, but it was like, I keep trying to break up with her and she'd break all the plates in my house and shit like that. Be like, I ain't leaving. And I'm like, you don't even love me. Just so like, it was fucking horrible. But my like refuge in that time when my life was falling apart, I'd been arrested a couple times and I was dating a girl I shouldn't have been. And just, not like I was just in so much solitude and depression, but I filled that hole with Oblivion on Xbox 360. And I think I had like 1,000 hours in that game. It's the only game I 100%ed on the Xbox 360 because I looked that up. And it was just great. I loved it. So once the remaster got announced, I was really pumped. And they announced it like a month before it came out. So there was like no time to like ruin it or whatever. It's like, you're getting excited, game comes out, I buy it. Graphically, it's amazing. Like, it's still janky like the 360 game was, but like they really improved the graphics. So when you're playing it, it feels like what you remember, but also you're like, man, this looks really good when you're playing it. The game was too easy. That is my only complaint, is that the old game had so much jank and like the leveling system was weird, but they fixed all that in this new one. But because of that, it made it really easy. So I think I probably beat it and platinumed it in 2 or 3 weeks, maybe something like that. And so that was kind of a bummer because I was like expecting to spend a lot of time with it. And I could have done more side quests and stuff like that. But eventually it did kind of run its course. And most people online that are fans of these Elder Scrolls games, they would say Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim is worse than Oblivion after playing this. They'll be like, I played this and I see why everyone says Oblivion's better. And I used to be one of those people that said Oblivion was better. And the Oblivion storylines and quest lines are better, but the gameplay of Skyrim is far, far superior. Like, I think they really ironed out a bunch of stuff between 4 and 5 that made just the gameplay feel better in Skyrim. So it actually made me appreciate Skyrim more. But I've platinumed that 3 times on the PS3, 4, and 5. So now I feel like if I go back and play it again, wasting my time because I already got all the trophies. So anyway, those damn trophies. So anyway, that's my video game talk for the week. Hopefully people don't hate it. I know a lot of people don't play video games, so you're like, I don't give a shit about that, but I do, and it's my podcast, so I feel like I have to talk about them. I also have like a whole list of TV shows that I watched while I was gone. I was like, oh fuck, I can't believe I forgot all about these. I'm probably going to talk about some maybe later this episode or next week. And then also I need to have Soko calling because he is my TV show guy where we talk about TV shows, but I know his life's pretty busy as well. So I don't want to force it upon him, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Well, let's play a song here. Next song we're going to go with is going to be a song I produced. Again, that's a theme in these first few episodes, at least until people start sending us in stuff. And it's from the homegirl, Karmaa. She is a artist out of, I think, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I believe I'm correct there. And this song is fun. I'm debating if I'm going to get away. Yeah, I'm just going to tell the whole story of it because why not? That's why I have a podcast. So this song is called Pleasure by Karmaa. It is available on the streaming sites at the moment. And I originally sent her a beat to be on mine and Brad's album. Me and Brad have an album called Brain Rot Over Sanity. We'll talk about that a little more later. And I sent her this beat and then she sent me back a verse. But by the time she had sent back the verse, me and Brad had kind of already finished the song and turned it into something else. And so I felt really bad because that's how I am as like, a producer type. I don't know, I just feel bad about stuff all the time. And so I felt bad that she like wasted her time making this verse and we weren't going to use it. So I told her, let me rework the beat and I will make your verse fit this new beat. And then we'll see what goes on from there. And then I did that. So I took out all of the vocal samples that I had in the previous beat. And then I added these new pervier samples. And Karmaa loved it. She was like, I'm going to do the second verse too. It'll just become my song. And I was like, fucking perfect plan. Now, the song that I'm going to play, the song that it was supposed to be on at the end of this podcast, just so y'all can compare them if you'd like. Or you can go on, on the streaming, put them on the same playlist back to back and listen to how you can clearly tell. I can tell, but maybe because I'm the producer, but I also think it's one of those just fun things where like normal people don't give a shit, you know. It's like they don't really know. But all right, we're gonna go here with like said, Karmaa, and you get the little fucking screens correct. The name of the song is Pleasure. In parentheses is because I think that is how I named it in the file I sent her. So shout her out for keeping that there. And we're gonna give a listen to Pleasure by Karmaa, featuring me, A2thaMo makes beats.
I'll give you pleasure. I'll give you. I'll give you pleasure. I'll give you. I'll give you pleasure. I'll give you. I'll give you pleasure. I was on the prowl trying to get some cat. Now a fake position when I hit it from the back. My tongue game so good she turned to modern rap. Can't understand a word she say, but it's a viral track. She like that 3-finger combo. I ain't talking canes, but his finger looking good. Give me a second plate. The scars on my back prove every word I say. You talking shit, but your girl gotta play by play. We are not the same. She comes on my face every second with you. Makes her wish she was gay. I ain't throwing shade. I'm just beating straight like her when you're in her, but she screams my name. It was only one night, but it's me she craves. It was only one time, but I stake my claim. I'm sorry for your loss, though I can't relate. I'm sure she feels your pain, but in the S&M type way. I'll give you pleasure. I'll give you. 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 I'll give you pleasure. I'm a bully, a bitch, a PIMP. One night in my bed will have a bitch sprung on me. That thing is deep, causing wet dreams. It's not rocket science to get her exploding. She told me to charge for lessons cause these men don't meet expectations or standards, only selfish needs. If only they learned to spell the ABCs, the world would be a better place with a need to please, not a need for speed. Baby, let me preach. It's the motion of the ocean, not release of seed. When you learn to tease, then she'll let you lead. If the potion is potent, it'll make her scream. When you flick the beam, she won't ever leave. She gon' be begging you to give her a baby. Speaking honestly, I'm always down to teach tips and tricks on my OF page for little feet. I'll give you. 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 I'll give you pleasure.
A2thaMo makes beats.
Pleasure by Karmaa. In parentheses, of course. Yeah, I like it a lot. Also, if I ever get Karmaa's OnlyFans, I will definitely plug it here for y'all so we can all subscribe. Because I'm just trying to support my creator friends, of course. And that goes for any of you out there creating OnlyFans. Brad, I know we're out there. I know we're joking. I know we're semen maxing or whatever. Not Karmaa though. No semen maxing for Karmaa. My bad, guys. I'm getting distracted. My wife saw, asked me if I wanted food. I'm gonna say no, because I'm gonna eat leftovers like a real man. That's one of the rules of being a man. All right, I'm gonna try to keep track of them. I probably won't, but if I do, we'll add it to the list. The rules of being a man: number 1, eat leftovers. My wife hates leftovers, and I have tricked her in the last year or so with some cooking methods where I've learned you cook your leftovers into other meals. So the two go-to are breakfast burritos or normal burritos, which is, I guess, the same thing. And then fried rice. So basically, if I have some leftover pork chops, steaks, chicken breasts, whatever meat product we're talking about here, you can just cut that up in little cubes, fry it up in some bacon grease, and then combine some eggs to it. It becomes a little egg scramble thing. You take that, you put in some tortillas, a little cheese, a little salsa. You roll those up. You put those on a baking sheet, and then you put those in the oven for 10 minutes. And then it comes out like this nice little perfect, hot as fuck, crispy burrito. A variation of that, if you have refried beans, not normally a thing we have, but yesterday I did actually. So instead of eggs, you go refried beans. We had refried beans and rice because I love Mexican food. My wife hates it, and she's had it like 4 times in the last 2 weeks without me because other people, are going out Mexican with her. And so she went to see her family this last weekend, a couple hours away, and maybe about an hour away, and they insisted upon sending back all of their like leftover fajita catering stuff. I guess for me, because I like Mexican food. And so I was pretty pumped. It was a fuckload. So I spent yesterday converting all of that into rice, beans, fajita meat, salsa, cheese, wrapped up in tortillas, put on the bacon sheet, baked, and I ended up making 12 of them. My wife's like, what the fuck? Why'd you make so many? I was like, because I'm eating 7 and you're eating 5 and it'll be fine. And she thought I was crazy and should have only done half of that. And maybe she's right. But I was like, I ain't keeping leftovers for like multiple days. I mean, like, let's just fucking get them done, yeah? And so I got through about 3 of mine and was like, oh my God, I am so full. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. They were really good. But I was like, I don't know if I'm able to do this. And then she was like, I'm not doing this. I'm done. And like she had 2. I think she eventually had 3, but it was like a struggle. And then she had like, just 2 sitting there to be thrown away at the end. I powered through all 7 of mine. We were watching Alone, I believe. New season just started. And I was like, listen, they're starving. I got food here. I'm going to eat all of it. I was like sick afterwards. When it came dinner time and I was like, I can't eat. Like, so I think we went pick something up and I just barely ate anything. Like, I was like, oh my God, 7 burritos at lunch was a little too much. But hey, so, we live on Earth to find our limits, and that is mine. And then the fried rice, just those out there, first off, you got to make some white rice earlier in the day before, throw it in the fridge, let it harden up. And then you take your leftover meats, you chop them up, you throw them in. Bacon grease is the key to all my things, but whatever fucking oily substance you like to fry your shit up in. You throw the meat in there, you chop up some onion. I do a little carrot, even though I'm not a fan, but for color, I do some carrot. I do broccoli, which some people prefer green onion, but for my green coloring, I'm gonna do a little broccoli. I'm gonna throw that some garlic. So now we got the meat and the veggies in there. It's sauteing. Sometimes you do the veggies first, especially if the meat's already cooked. Then absolutely that. But if the meat's raw, but that isn't a leftover meal. No, is I'm fucking just fucking up here. So yeah, you fry all that up, and then you put your rice in. Oh, I'm sorry. You put your eggs in. You do a couple eggs, scramble eggs up in there. Then you throw your rice in there. You want it hot as fuck when you put the rice in there, and then you throw in some oil and so soy sauce in there, and you just stir it and you stir it. And then my wife thinks this is the greatest meal I cook, which is fun because it's like the cheapest meal I cook because it's using leftovers. And then she just thinks it's super good. So that is how I've trained my wife to eat leftovers, is by making the fried rice. I prefer the burrito method myself, but it's pretty good. I don't know how leftovers isn't on the list. That's just fucking pure off the top. Here's something on the list. I think it'd be really cool if Offset killed Stephon Diggs. Now, I've hopefully got all these names correctly. Because again, I mentioned last week, I'm falling out of my football knowledge and I don't really listen to the Migos. So if someone was like, what? Offset's the one that died. I think Takeoff died and Offset's still alive, but that's the thing. I've never been a Migos fan. I've heard a couple songs that are fun. And, the first time I even really heard of them, I knew of them, but I didn't ever see them until they were on that episode of Atlanta where they're like in the camper. And then I thought they really lived in a fucking camper. So I thought they were like redneck black dudes or something. And then I was like, oh, I think it was just for the show. So I'm no Migos expert, but I believe Offset is who was married to Cardi B. And now Cardi B is out here getting digged down by Stephon Diggs, who was also fucking other bitches giving on the pink cocaine, which is very cool. I'm not hating on that at all. I just think I would like to see like a rapper stand on some business and him shoot an NFL player who's acting too cocky. I just think that'd be cool for the culture. Now, maybe people are like, how dare you say that as a white person wanting black people to kill each other? It has nothing to do about that. If this was Eminem out here fucking Tom Brady's ex and talking wild shit or whatever, in Tom Brady's September, I think I would cheer for that. And I don't even like either of those people. So I don't know. These are just the thoughts I have. Again, not a fan of any of these people. I just think it would be cool to see someone in the rap industry back when it used to be pretty cool and gangster, at least it was perceived to be that way. It probably wasn't in hindsight. It's probably a little gay from what we're hearing in court cases. But yeah, for them to be like, oh, you might be able to run fast, but you ain't out running a bullet, some cool shit like that. maybe catch it on a live stream because that's what the kids like these days. I don't know. Someone kind of related, but not really. And I wrote this, and I'm gonna be real honest, I don't even know what the fuck I meant by this, but I had a point. It was when Kanye's Hell Hitler song came out, and people were like hyping it up, like, this is a song, it's just a fucking pop, bro. And I was like, it's okay. I mean, the production's cool. I get it. It's like a fun little loop or whatever. I didn't love it, but it was like, is the Heil Hitler the white people's N-word? You know, it was like, in the sense of like when black people would say it, other black people were like, you can't be saying that. You know, I don't know. There's something there. You know, not exactly it, of course, but there's something interesting about it. I've also been a little fascinated how much people seem to like Hitler more now than they did when I was growing up. But I'm not even picking a side. I know I should. I know not picking a side looks worse than picking a side. Because I am pretty much on like, I don't know anything about history, you know. It's whoever fucking won the wars wrote the books and shit. Like, apparently, I don't know how true this is, but people say like all the Holocaust pictures we saw were restaged photos because they got them in whatever month and there wasn't snow on the ground. But the photos we see, there's snow on the ground because they took some people back for photo ops because they didn't have photographers there the day they liberated them, which kind of makes sense. And then you're like, well, why fake it? And then you're like, I don't know. So then that gets people talking and shit, you know? And so you're like, well, maybe that's why you don't fake it. So people fucking 50 years from now don't fucking make up some goddamn shit. It's kind of like this moon thing. I'm pretty much on we never made fucking the moon. And I know that makes me look somewhat crazy to some people, but like it's proven that they did some fake photos, like where guys are on wires pretending they're in space, and you can see those pictures like, oh, there's obviously fake. So you know they done some fake stuff. So then you're just like, well, what's fake and what's not? And then you got like decipher that, and I'm no fucking spaceman expert. I don't know. All right, another random thing. This is my random. Segment 3 is gonna become random things for now. I guess. Magic Johnson. Now, I love that HBO show Winning Time. And it's hard for me to not think of Magic Johnson as the actor that was playing him in that, you know, show, because I like the show so much. It only got 2 seasons, very, very much a shame. But recently, old Magic Johnson interviews have come up on my algorithm on all these videos. And so I kind of deep dive like Magic Johnson interviews from like the 80s. I think he's zesty. So everyone's giving cat shit because it's funny, cat shit. Karl Anthony Towns is a basketball player, played for the New York Knicks. He may still, who knows? People are talking about he might get traded. I don't fucking know. But he has a very zesty, and people know what zesty means. That's like a gay way of talking. And I think, and again, I could be misunderstanding the culture. I think zesty is being used normally for people that aren't out as gay, but like you think they're gay, but you don't know. So they say, like, oh, there's zesty. That's what I believe. So everyone's giving Karl Anthony Towns stuff about that because his voice, he'll be like, his voice does sound gay, I guess is more or less the only way to say it. And other people are like, no, that's just the accent in New Jersey. And I'm like, I didn't hear that shit on The Sopranos. But I've been watching these Magic Johnson things. So like he's been interviewed a lot. He's like the most famous player in the NBA for many years. And he just seems zesty. And then when you're like, he had HIV, and they like were like, yeah, he just had sex with so many women. You know, he just got HIV with having sex with so many women. Even though most people that had HIV at that time were gay men. I know there were like people that got it from needles and stuff like that too. But like gay men were like the number one person. It just makes more sense that Magic Johnson, who lived in LA, was gay and got HIV, than Magic Johnson lived in LA, had sex with hundreds of thousands of women all the time, was such a ladies' man, and then got it, and then became like monogamous man with Cookie, his wife, and then he ends up having a gay son. And I don't know if that's like, if it's genetic. I don't know what any fucking research has done into this, but his gay son like looks like him and talks like him, and you're like, oh my God, it just makes more sense to me. That's all I'm saying. And I understand, and I'd say that's someone who, look, it wouldn't change my opinion on him and him as a basketball player. I think he's still great. And it makes sense, like in that time, he's like, I just can't come out because I'm the best basketball player. Like, you know, like that fits the narrative as well. So no one ever talks about this. Maybe they used to talk about it. It's like died down, and I just have missed all the conversations back in the day. But I just think the real Magic Johnson, not the guy from the TV show, because the guy from the TV show, I kind of get that he gets all the ladies. There's something more about him. But like the real Magic Johnson, he just seemed, at least on his interviews, very flamboyant and stuff, you know. So maybe look into it. Let me know what y'all think out there. All right, hey, I did about an hour. We've made it. We made it here to the end, and let's see. We got to end it with a song, of course. I'm sure there's like a million things I was gonna talk about or should. TV show wise, I'll like I said, maybe next week or the week after I'll try to get around to some TV show stuff. Uh, a big hint is Apple TV is the shit. Like if you just need anyone to give you any recommendation on like you have an extra $10 to $15, whatever the fuck it costs a month on some TV stuff, or you're about to cancel Netflix because it's way too expensive for what they offer. And like where else to put that? Apple TV is the new HBO, not HBO Max, but like HBO, like old school HBO, where it was like every show they put out was just premium television that you love. That's about how Apple TV is. I mean, I could probably do a top 5 list of things I've watched and then a top 5 things of things we have on our like to watch list. There are just a lot of really high quality shows. They're losing like $1 billion a year. That's how much they're putting into stuff. So I don't know how long it's going to last, but it's pretty good. I've liked a lot of shows. I won't go deep into it now, but Severance is like in the trajectory. It could be one of the greatest shows of all time. Like who knows? It's got to see how it ends. But it's very rare that you're in the middle of like a show, you know, just finished season 2, and you're like, depending how this goes, this could be an all-timer. Like that's fun to be a part of in the moment. So, and then when the show is airing, like fucking conspiracies and theories all on the internet, you know, like I think it's this and this means this, and that was very fun. You know, that's the type of TV shows I like to get into. So I maybe said more than I'm putting on there, but you know, there's my recommendation for the week on the TV. Severance is great. I'll talk about it more later. Apple TV. We got 3 free months when I bought my wife an Apple laptop, whatever the fuck they're called, MacBook, and we have kept it ever since. So they know what they're doing on that one. Brad, the song we're going to end with here, I mentioned it earlier. It's a song called Virus by Bradster X and myself, A2thaMo. And I think I mentioned this last week's episode. We put out an album, I believe it was in May, called Brain Rot Over Sanity. And really, we just wanted something that fit the acronym BROS because we thought that was cool. Because it was originally called Brain Rot or Internet Smart. And to me, that meant like, you know, people say like you got brain rot because you're obsessed with the internet and all that shit. But I'm like, or I'm just internet smart. Like that was kind of the idea originally. But then we're like, how do we get this down to an acronym of BROS? And so we came with Brain Rot Over Sanity. It works, you know, for sure. I think the idea you still kind of achieve. And then the album cover, you know, was made through some AI stuff and, you know, fucked around with that and had to edit it and do different things. But I like the album cover a lot. It fits more Brad's aesthetic. He does more horrorcore music. Now, the album isn't horrorcore, so I don't know if we're like representing anything, but I still think it kind of works. So, I mean, y'all will see that here at the end. So hopefully y'all let me know out there what y'all thought of this album cover. And I really think me and Brad just killed this whole album. In general, I feel like Brad does better in the first half of the album, and I kind of pick up towards the second half. But I think it's more just the way we arrange, you know, more upbeat songs towards the front and slower ones towards the back, and that's just kind of how we both naturally our talents lie. But you know, I done stuff in his style, he done stuff in my style. I really think we committed. I think all of the TikTok audio dialogue that I put all over, it's not just from TikTok, it's other internet sources as well, but put all over the album really ties it together and is like a fun thing that separates it from other stuff. Yeah, like to pat my own self on the back producer wise, I think I killed that part of it. And yeah, anyway, I would love it if you wouldn't listen to the whole album, but if not, we'll play some songs on this podcast, you know, over the next however many weeks, I'm sure, to let people hear them as well. So this is Virus, Bradster X, A2thaMo, like I said. And then if you remember that song by Karmaa, you can, you know, mentally compare them. If not, go listen to both of them on streaming services back to back to kind of hear the similarities between the two. I think they're pretty obvious, but, you know, who knows? And, you know, let me know the format of the show. Do we think an hour is good? Is it cool ending on a song? Should I be coming back after the song, talk again, and then like end on a beat? Because I used to end on beats. I mean, I do have a million of them, but I kind of feel like this is fine. I don't know. But I do need feedback. You know, like I said, send me emails. I don't think I've said that yet on this episode, so my bad. But I would love some emails from listeners. Maybe just topics you want me to talk about, thoughts you have, maybe things I'm wrong about. You know, I'm totally down to be wrong. I think what's rare about me, as far as I am kind of like I have a little bit of a know-it-all personality. I know people have a way worse one than me, but I'm also pretty self-deprecating. So if someone presents some knowledge and they're like, actually, I'm pretty quick to be like, oh yeah, fuck, I'm wrong. You know, like I don't get too proud or hung up on that. You know, I'm willing to be corrected and learn. Unless it's about some stupid shit, then I'll say you're a fucking dumbass. You fucking bitch. All right. In and on virus, thanks for listening. If you are, if we have no listeners, then fuck, this is fun either way. Peace.
I'm just.
The Mo makes beats.
Hello, your computer has virus.
When I pee, I get a burning sensation. My immune system dipped on a permanent vacation. I live life on the edge, hoping to fall off. Ignored your call, sorry, was knocking your mom's socks off. Snorting rails from plug to scale, I need to have it. Long nights, wake up again, repeat the magic. Fucking with me is tragic, you should beat the habit. It's like tugging on the tail of a sleeping dragon. Breathe fire every word that I speak. They call me the shock master when I burst on the scene. To pin up tight bitches and they rolling with me. In a jet flight, licking up and down on my D. Been writing a long time, I'm as old as papyrus. Not the smartest in the room, but I'm probably the highest. Like a chick with a dick, ain't nothing surprises. Rhyme so sick, people think we got a virus. Rhyme so sick, people think we got a virus. Rhyme so sick, people think we got a virus. Rhyme so sick, people think we got a virus. Rhyme so sick, people think we got a virus.
I'm nervous, I'm stressing. What fucking buttons, dude, have I been pressing? What kind of brain ride life have I chosen? Click suspicious links, now my whole computer frozen. Bitch, that's just another day. Went from Napster to Pirate Bay to now some shit I shouldn't say. I switch it up, let me do this shit another way. Tryna give your mom everything your sister couldn't take. Ooh, yeah, we know that's right. Yeah, this shit poppin' like Adderall. Yeah, these rappers sold out like Cabbage Patch Dolls. Turned out most suck dicks and some catch balls. Allegedly, but I don't see how misunderstandings could become a felony. Then again, believe whatever the algo was telling me. Just tryna Google for like a fucking spelling bee. And every time I watch a news, don't believe what they telling me. I got a bias against rich guys that can buy us. They hijack supplies and they rigging out the science. Well damn, I'm just tryna get high as fuck. No, there's a reason, ain't nobody trying us. Cause
Rhyme so sick, people think we got a virus. Rhyme so sick, people think we got a virus. Rhyme so sick, people think we got a virus. Rhyme so sick, people think we got a virus.